Yo, what is up, everybody? Chris here from Big Sports News, Action Rotation, however the flipping on these interwebs. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick preview of what to expect going into the Major 4 Minor, that being Minor 2 of the 2026 CDL season. Hope you guys enjoyed the intro. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share it with someone who you think would enjoy this content niche. If you do so, please. So, without further ado, let's get into the matches that we will be seeing today at time of watching for you probably, or tomorrow, depending on when you see this video. But it's Major 2. I'm sorry, Major 2. We already had Major 2. That was won by FaZe Vegas, who plays on Saturday. But we're starting on Friday with the Riyadh Falcons taking on the New Look Ravens with Fire, Exceed, Lurks, and Sandy. Of course, Riyadh Falcons is Pred, Kiz, Cell, and X, right? So I think it's a pretty decisive win for the Riyadh Falcons, formerly the Vegas Falcons. They just look to be a top 3 team in this game right now. Carolina is steadily improving, but 1-3-0 win against the Toronto Koi, who famously imploded just yesterday, right, when Joe Deceives left for the Gentlemates, and then getting 3-0'd by the team that was absolutely shambolic, as we found out based on the tweets between Neptune and Envoy. I mean, not really that encouraging for a Ravens win, right? So that's why I can pretty confidently say I'm going to back the Falcons here. I feel like just based on the fact that the Ravens did play the Mates somewhat close last week, but they got absolutely dominated in terms of the map wins and losses. I feel like Falcons do much of the same. I feel like it's going to be a pretty dominant 3-1. Maybe the Ravens might come out very hot in a respawn, let's say an Overload. I doubt that. Falcons are maybe the best Overload team in the game. So their best chance is S&D. That's why I gave them 1. So in our next matchup, we have the New Look Toronto Koi with Abe, Kleenex, Insight, and Kips, of course, right? So we have 2 players from Challengers, Kips and Abe. They're in Challengers, of course, last year. New entrance to the CDL. Abe was on Vancouver Surge to start the season with Legend, Gwyn, and Lunars, but of course he's now on Koi after playing for Telluride Bush, winning Major 3 with the boys on LAN in Challengers, and then being brought right back up to Toronto because they had him on a loan to the Vancouver Surge originally, and I'm guessing subsequently to Telluride Bush, unless they released him at some point to let him go to Challengers. Anyways, he's back with Koi, and they're playing Cloud9. Cloud9 is much improved. This is a hard one to call. I mean, before it was a foregone conclusion when Joe was on the team, but with Webby and Nezra playing the way that they have, I just don't know. I mean, maybe Kleenex takes over, and this is like a vintage, like Toby Kleenex Ultra Series, where he's just the star of the team, like he was in 2021. With Abe, Insight, Kleenex, and Kips. You know, I'm going to back Koi. I believe in Kips and Kleenex. I believe in that too. That duo, that core duo. I think it'll be a very tight game, but I think now that Joe and that whole situation has been figured out after the Insight benching, I mean, I had faith in them last week, though, and they lost to a really bad Ravens team. And Joe, it really just depends on how much faith I have in Kips and Abe at this point, because Insight's going to be free. C9's got a squad. I'm going to say they win this 3-2. I'm going to just be courageous, jump out there. Maybe this destroys my bracket, but I'm going to say Cloud9 wins this 3-2. It's single elim anyways, so worst case scenario, I mean, Koi would have lost in the next round regardless. So, yeah. Anyways, round 1, bottom half of the bracket, we have the Heretics taking on the Vancouver Surge, and no Drakes plus Real. I feel like this is a Surge series. I'm going to book the upset here. I just feel like with Mamba, Craze, Lunars, and of course CJ, that team has shown that they're pretty good. They had a very, very, very close loss last week that should have been a win against the Boston Breach, right? Yeah, I mean, that Scar HP is definitely going to be haunting them as they go to sleep for the next couple days. So I think the Vancouver Surge play better on Friday. I think they take down Miami. I feel like Miami, they're in free fall right now. They are on a greasy neck tour. Their chain is just going all around America, starting in Boca Raton. And shit, that bitch is in Colorado right now as far. So I don't know, man. I feel like Miami's kind of cooked at the moment. And I feel like they just cooked themselves. I feel like they could have just kept going forward. Maybe just fix some of the internal, like, small things that were, like, plaguing them, such as tilting easily, etc. But they hit the panic button, they hit that red button, and, once you punch those codes, the bombs are going. So, speaking of the bombs going, I think it's bombs away for G2 Minnesota. I think they bomb them with a 3-1 blitz. I think Kremp and the boys with Envoy, Nasty and Skies. I feel like this team is going to gel with a little bit more practice time. They looked really good with no practice time. Nasty was getting tucked. I don't expect that to happen again. Envoy, I feel like, will look a lot better now that he can soar like an eagle. He's in a new environment. And he has Neptune no longer dragging him down, as he was saying before. He said he's the worst teammate of all time. Like, damn. What you got to do to get a moniker like that, brother? Shit. So, 3-1 G2 is my take. I think the Dark Prince takes over, or Kremp. Both. I think they take over. I think they just go Fusion Ha and hit him with the Kamehameha. Send him right back home. So, speaking of people being sent right back home, I think that the Paris Gentlemates will be kind guys and allow Cloud9 New York to go to that New York Knicks watch party for Game 2, baby. I think they'll be in the concrete jungle cheering on Jalen Brunson, the king of New York, not worried at all about that ass whooping they took earlier in the CDL. So, speaking of people taking ass whoopings in the CDL, I think the LA Thieves will be giving Dylan Envoy a initiation, West Coast style, if you know what I'm saying, with those fucking squabs. So I think they're going to have to squabble up with the LA Thieves. I think the LA Thieves are going to say that they do not have enough, even though they're solid. And I think somebody's got to do it. Alright, that's enough Kendrick references. Speaking of enough, I think OpTic Texas will have not enough to get over the Riyadh Falcons. I think a surprise upset comes through for Riyadh. I feel like they're due. Once a year, AG's got to get his victory over Shotzi and Co. I feel like this is his one shot. Last year, if you guys remember, Falcons famously beat OpTic in one of the most insane upsets of the CDL season in 2025 when Pred first joined the team. And yeah, I think he gets another one against OpTic, especially after the major. It's just kind of like a TV show, right? Like, that was the episode where we left off on the cliffhanger. Like, the Falcons got their ass beat by the bully. They've been going to practice with their karate instructor type shit. They learned a couple secret moves that are banned. And they're going to pull that shit out this weekend. They're going to hit them with the cheese. Going to hit them with the bigger man cheese. Word to the flank. If you guys didn't watch the video that is going up after this, how would you? But yeah, there's a video going up after this, and there was bigger man cheese coming from Neptune talking to Envoy. So yeah, that's where the bigger man cheese context come from. On the flank, it was hilarious. Pred was like, he's the bigger man cheese when he was like, yo, like I thought you liked me, Envoy. Envoy was like, man, you're the worst teammate of all time. Fuck out my face. Anyways, speaking of fuck out my face, we have the FaZe Vegas boys taking on Mamba and Craze. I think this is a receipt that FaZe Vegas, especially Simp and Draws, have been waiting to hand out for a minute. Mamba has been absolutely on their heels all year, talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. I run you motherfuckers. You can't beat me. Mamba's talked crazy to FaZe all year long. So I think now that they have a chance to absolutely curb stomp Mamba and the Vancouver Surge and Craze, getting back on the EWC loss from last year, I think FaZe, especially Simp, is going to be extra locked in on this one. He's going to be like, oh, we can absolutely embarrass Mamba and we can talk on the cams and talk shit. Barbecue chicken. Speaking of barbecue chicken, Joe Deceives, Estriel, Envoy, and Sib. Envoy, oh my lord. No, he is not on the Gentlemates anymore, Christopher. Joe Deceives, Estriel, Dan Ghosty, and Sib versus Pred, X, Cell, and Kiz. Ah, man, this is a hard one. New look mates with Joe. and Estriel taking on the Falcons. I feel like Falcons are due, and you know what? With the storylines we have, I just feel like we got to get a new winner, right? We got to get another tournament winner in the mix. Now we'll have 4 teams that have won a tournament in the season. FaZe, Mates, LA Thieves, and Riyadh Falcons. I'm spoiling the finals already. I think FaZe get through. I think they beat the Thieves this time, even though they lost to them last week in quals. And they're now 0-2 against Thieves in their last 2. Probably different maps come through in the vetoes this time, and I think that's how FaZe get it done. Plus, these guys have played like 8 times. I mean, it just goes back and forth. I think FaZe, I said last time it would go back to FaZe, but it went forth to LA Thieves. I think it goes back to FaZe. Knocked on my desk, knocked on some wood there. But yeah, so I think FaZe make the finals. And you know, just for the fun of it, because I've already called so many upsets, I think Cell & Co., I think they get it done. They've been looking really good. They've been looking like that team where when we look back in retrospect, we'll be like, we should have highlighted the Falcons. They should have had some aura around them, like a highlighter glow, because it should have been obvious that they were going to win. So yeah, I'm going to say they win it in 7. And I'm going to say the AG gets his piece of the pie at minor 2. I'm going to say Falcons start to turn some heads going into Major 4. And I think that they'll have somewhat of a similar story as the LA Thieves did going into Major 3, from Minor 1, where they win the Minor, look to be really strong going into the Major, are underestimated, excusez-moi, by the community. OpTic fans are like, oh, we'll finally get right, and reality sets in. So yeah, I think Pred & Co. get it done. I think their map pool is pretty good. I think FaZe Vegas, they're showing signs of improvement. I think the fact that they have likely an easy matchup coming to them in the form of either Vancouver or Miami that's not going to be the same pace as with Trakes, and definitely not the same identity. I think they should get a free dub, and I think against LA Thieves it's a coin toss, but I think FaZe make it through, and I think they get to the finals where the Riyadh Falcons will likely be awaiting them. But if all things go according to how they should, based on the season, OpTic will be in the finals. But I just want it to be a little bit more whimsical. This year has been really, really prone to upsets and unexpected outcomes. So I'm like, you know what? Go with the flow. Don't keep forcing the same boring outcomes. Make a fun video for the people. It's what they want to see. You guys want to see a different story being told. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night like I was saying in these videos. Thanks for all the love and support. Recently, you guys have been going crazy with the views and all that. So yeah, going to keep going hard. Going to keep having our highlights posted each and every match day, permitting that my health allows me to. And yeah, like I always say, see you guys on the next one. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, like I said a couple times already. And I will see you guys on the next one. Once again, this is Chris from Esports News Extra. Now, ever the flipping on these interwebs. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.